Okay, Hare Krishna. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Shwapadantikam Vande Ham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Shavadutam Parijana Shahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakhanuvitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kantha Radha Kantha Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Stute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpatarubhyacha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Hayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Sri Gurun Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya. Hare Krishna. So welcome all the devotees to our Bhakti Sastri Sri Isopanisad class. So today we are going to discuss mantra number 7, 8, and 9. Just to review back what we have learned in the previous class, that we have learned about Krishna's independency, superiority, that he's the creator, he's the controller, and when he descends to the material world, he's not affected by the three modes of material nature. And then we discussed also about his contradictive natures, that he moves, he doesn't move, he's far away, he's very close, he's within, he's without. And this seems to be bewildering for the non-devotees. For the non-devotees, this is very bewildering and cannot be understood simply by so-called our material intelligence. Yeah. And then we discuss also about the vision of the Mahabhagavata, yeah, in the mantra number 6, how the Mahabhagavata or the Uttamadhikari, of course, Srila Prabhupada, giving elaborate description about the three levels of the devotees, namely the Kanishta, the Madhyama, and the Mahabhagavata or the Uttamadhikari. So the Uttamadhikari can see the Lord's presence everywhere. So on that base, we shall continue our discussion today with mantra number 7. Yeah. So in mantra 7 continues describing the consciousness of the Mahabhagavata, which was introduced in mantra number 6. Yeah, qualitative oneness, no illusion or lamentation for those with equal vision. So this is the mantra. Yasmin sarvani bhutani atmaiva bhud vijanataha tatra ko mohaka soka ekatvam anupashyata. Anupashyata means observing. Yeah, we discussed also about this phrase in the chapter, in the mantra number 6. Yeah, but the pashyata. Pashyata means observing, or in the mantra 6, it is translated by Srila Prabhupada as analytically seeing, something like that, more or less. One who always sees all living entities as spiritual sparks, in quality one with Lord. So this is the meaning of this phrase. Yeah? Ekatvam means oneness. Oneness in what sense? Oneness in quality, not in quantity. So anupashyataha means to see. So becomes a true knower of things. What then can be illusion or anxiety for him? Srila Prabhupada writes in his purport, the Mahabhagavata, the great devotee, sees oneness in the sense that he sees everything as the energy of the Supreme Lord, since there is no difference between the energy and the energetic. There is the sense of oneness. So this example, many times used by Srila Prabhupada, yeah, there is no difference between the energy and the energetic. The power, the prowess, and the power. Although from the analytical point of view, heat and light are different from fire, there is no meaning to the word fire without heat and light. Yeah, similar. This example also given in the previous mantra in Srila Prabhupada's purport about the fire, heat, and light. Yeah. So fire cannot be separated. Fire cannot be separated from heat and light. So whenever there is fire, there should be heat and light. And we understood that whenever there is light or heat, there must be some fire. Some fire, we can see like that. So similarly, this is the understanding of the qualitative oneness between the Supreme and the Jivas, the Supreme Lord and the Jivas. So yes, the Supreme Lord has this quality as Satchit Ananda Vigraha. So also the Jivas have this quality, Satchit Ananda Vigraha. But the difference, of course, the quantity. The Lord is known as the Vibhu, or great, big, and we are known as the Anu, or the tiny spark. To use another example, the quantity of salt present in a drop is never comparable to the quantity of salt present in the complete ocean, but the salt present in the drop is qualitatively equal in chemical composition to all the salt present in the ocean. If the individual living being were equal to the Supreme Lord, both qualitatively and quantitatively, there would be no question of his being under the influence of the material energy. In the previous mantras, it has already been discussed that no living being, not even the powerful demigods, can surpass the Supreme Being in any respect. Therefore, ekatvam does not mean that all living being is equal in all respect to the Supreme Lord. So this mantra basically defeating the Mayavadi philosophy. The Mayavadi philosophy says that yes, we are one with God, and actually we are all God because we are ekatvam. We are in oneness with God. We are in oneness with God. So after we quit our body, we will become God. But as Srila Prabhupada mentioned here in his purport, that there's no if there is no difference in quantity and in quality between the Supreme Lord and the Jivas, so there's no question for the Jivas to be illusion. If our position is the same with the Supreme Lord, then why when we come in contact with the material nature, we become illusion? We'll become bound by the three modes of material nature. Yeah, so this argument is completely cut off here. It's completely cut off here. It's completely defeated. Yeah, because the living entities, being the tiny spark of the Supreme Lord, is actually limited in power compared to the Supreme Lord. Yeah, although we are having the same original nature as Satchit Ananda, as I mentioned earlier, that actually we cannot really truly equal with the Lord in that sense, in a quantity sense. Yeah, because if we are equal with the Lord in all respects, then why we are illusion as soon as we get contact with the material nature? So just like the fly who is touched by the net, okay, just like the net of the spider being touched by a fly. So what happened with the fly? The fly will get entangled. Okay. So, but when the spider, the creator of the net, although the spider touched the net, because the spider is the creator of the net, so he has the full control over the net, so he will not be entangled in that net. Okay, so this is the difference between Lord Krishna, the Supreme Lord, and the Jivas. So Lord Krishna is the creator. So when Krishna comes to the material world, descend to have his pastimes, so the Lord will not be entangled by the three modes of material nature. But the jivas, as soon as the jivas enter the material world, immediately he will become entangled by the three modes of material nature. So the spider, who is the creator of the net, will not be entangled when he touched the net. But the fly, the fly, who is by chance just hit the net, immediately he becomes entangled. So like that. So only the spider, and who else will not be entangled by the net except the spider? Anybody?
Human.
Okay, human. That's fantastic answer. I mean, the some tiny creature in that size, let's say, in that size. Let's say human, of course, tiger, elephant will not get entangled. That spider's net. Yeah. But most appreciated, Vanamali Prabhu, your answer. So yeah, the spider and the baby spider will not get entangled in the net. Yeah, will not get entangled. So similarly, Krishna and the person who is in oneness, in intensity with Krishna, will not entangle in the material world. This is nicely explained in one of the purport by Srila Prabhupada in the third canto, chapter number 6. Yeah. In the chapter number 6, so the title of the chapter is The Creation of the Universal Form. If any of you would like to study the the intricacy of the material universal creation, yeah, you can read this chapter. Very elaborate and very intricate, and when I read that chapter, I got really headache. But Srila Prabhupada, in one of his purport, mentioned that the concept of oneness, the difference between the Mayavadi and the Vaishnava, the concept of oneness is that the Mayavadi is thinking that he is one with God in all respect, and that's completely nonsense, and that's completely wrong. But the Vaishnava philosophy is understanding of the oneness. This concept of oneness is oneness in intensity. Intensity means we are having the same mood with the Lord. We want to please the Lord. We want to serve the Lord. We are going in line along with His instruction. So we go according to His instruction. This is what oneness means. So that's Vaishnava philosophy of oneness. Oneness in intensity. So like the spider and the baby spiders, the devotees and the Lord, the pure devotees, we are talking about pure devotees, will not get entangled, because the pure devotees is actually empowered by the Lord, and therefore he is not entangled in the material world, just like the spider and the baby spider. The baby spider naturally they inherit the art of walking on the net, So what is that art that we are talking here? That art is actually the art of using everything in Krishna's service. So in that way, we will not be entangled. This is called the real vairagya, yukta vairagya, anasakta visayan yatar hamupayunjataha nirbhanda Krishna sambande yuktam vairagyam uchyate. So nirbhanda Krishna sambande. So whatever we have in the material world, everything actually can be connected in Krishna service. Sambandhe means connection. So we connect everything in Krishna service. Yukta vairagyam uchyate. So actually, there's no there's no attachment. We are detached. So when we detach means we are not entangled in the material world. Why we are entangled in the material world? Due to our attachment. Due to our attachment to enjoy the senses, due to our attachment with whatever possession, so-called possession that we have. This is mine, aham mameti. Umsastriya maithuni bhavametam tayor mito haridaya granti mahu. Ato grihak setra zutapta vitaya janashyamo hoyam aham mameti. So aham mameti, I and mine. So umsastriya maithuni. Hridaya granti means the knot of the heart. This is the biggest attachment. The biggest attachment. And the foundation of that attachment is sexual affairs. And in fact, Srila Prabhupada many times mentioned that, yes, this is the grossest type of enjoyment, and we are too attached with that kind of enjoyment. Yeah. That's how we become entangled. But when we master the art how to walk on the net of this material creation, then we are completely liberated. Ihayasya haridasya karmana manasa gira nikila swapyavastasu jivan mukta sa uchate. So although we are still in the material body, jivan mukta sa uchate, we'll be liberated. We are liberated. So what is the condition? Ihayasya harir dasya. We are engaging ourselves in the harir dasya, in the service of Lord Hari. Karmana manasa gira, using our body, word, and mind. All right, so that's about the concept of oneness, the difference, understanding between the devotees and the Mayavadi should be clear. And Srila Prabhupada continue. This is the perfection of Krishna consciousness. Ekatvam anupashataha. A Krishna conscious person sees oneness. All living entities, they see one. So one in the sense of everybody is part and parcel of Krishna. So the Mahabhagavata will always see Krishna everywhere. When he sees a dog, he also remember Krishna, because he understands that, yes, this dog, the jiva is entangled, and the jiva gets the dog body, but still the jivas are actually constitutional position of the jivas are always pure. It's just temporary material covering. Therefore, he desired to become a dog, and now he gets the body of a dog. But a Mahabhagavata devotee will see oneness in all respect. Oneness, therefore, he can see Krishna everywhere. He can see Krishna everywhere in this sense. Yeah, Vidya Vinaya Shampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Sunichaiva Swapakicha Pandita Samadarshi. So he sees all entities as part and parcel of Krishna, and he understood that Krishna resides in everybody's heart. Yeah. Sarvasya Chaham Hridisani, based on that verse 15.15 Bhagavad Gita. So a Mahabhagavata, his vision, Ekatvam Anupashata. He sees only Krishna, nothing else. Moha and Soka, Srila Prabhupada continue. Moha and Soka. This is also explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Brahma Bhuta Prashanatma Na Sochati Nakang Sati. We are very much anxious to get things which we have not got. That is kangsati, hankering after. And when things are lost, we lament. But if we know that Krishna is the central point, so anything received, gained, profited, that is Krishna's desire. Krishna has given, accept. And if it is taken away by Krishna, then what is the lamentation? Krishna like to take it away from me? Oh, why should I lament? Because Ekatwam, the Supreme One, He is the cause of all causes. He is taking, He is also giving. Yeah. So come back to the first mantra actually. The very basic, the foundation of this Isopanisad is to understand that everything belongs to Krishna. Yeah, the Isavasya principle. Therefore, when we get something, okay, still this is not mine. This is belong to Krishna. And then when we lost something that apparently to be ours, belong to us, is actually it's Krishna's property. Yeah, and Krishna wants to take it. Okay, take it back. Prabhupada said that yes, when we take birth in the material world, so we don't bring anything from the womb of our mother except our stool. We don't bring even a thread with us. Then actually everything is belong to Krishna. We have nothing in the material world. We have nothing, and yeah, everything belong to Krishna. If we deserve, Krishna will give it, and then anytime Krishna can take it back. Yeah. So don't be too anxious of wanting to get something. Just accept Magrida Kasya Shridanam, because everything is already allotted by Krishna. We will have this much only in this life. That's it. Doesn't matter how much is our effort. Sometimes we see that different people, they are doing the same thing. They are putting the same effort, but they get different results. They get different result because karmana and daivanejjana, according to their karma and also Krishna's supervision. Yeah. So everything is belong to Krishna, and we have nothing in the material world. So no lamentation and no hankering. Naso chati na kamstati. All right, that's the end of the mantra number 7. Whether any question or comment on mantra number 7 before we continue to mantra number 8. All right. If there's a comment, question, we continue. Mantra 8 describes some qualities of the Lord as he is known by the Mahabhagavata as described in mantra 6 and 7. So God's eternal qualities attaining the Lord who has divine qualities. All right, I need some volunteer to recite this verse. Mantra number 7. Mantra number 8. Anybody just unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Kumudaksa Prabhu, please read it.
Sapariyagacho kramakayam auranam asnaviram sudamapapavidam kavirmanisi paribu swayambhu yatatyatortan gadadachaswati samavyaha.
Thank you very much. Translation, you can read?
Yes. Such a person must factually know the greatest of all, the personality of Godhead, who is unembodied, omniscient, beyond reproach, without veins, pure and uncontaminated, the self-sufficient philosopher who has been fulfilling everyone's desire since time immemorial.
Thank you so much. So, yeah, somehow or other, in the last line of this mantra, I could not find the exact tune for that. I mean, it's different. I mean, this is really long. And in fact, in one lecture, Srila Prabhupada, when he was giving the series of the Isopanisad lecture, so when Srila Prabhupada complete the first mantra and then second mantra, so again the devotees are requested to start just to recite the sloka, the first and second, and then when he start mantra 3, so the devotees start from 1, 2, and 3, and then mantra 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. When the devotees reach this mantra number 8, so the devotees having some difficulties, they are struggling to recite this mantra. They are struggling to recite this mantra. And Srila Prabhupada said, I put this quote here because I found it interesting. This verse is little difficult. Srila Prabhupada laughed, in fact. So chant and it will come. Yes, abhyasa yogena. Arjuna said that it is impossible for me. So Krishna said, abhyasa yogena. Abhyasa yogena means practicing, repeating. Practicing or repeating, abhyasa yogena. So same also with any other slokas actually. We just need to practice, repeat it again and again, and it comes. Okay, Srila Prabhupada writes, here is a description of the transcendental and eternal form of the Lord absolute personality of Godhead. The Supreme Lord is not formless. He has his own transcendental form, which is not at all similar to the form of the mundane world. The forms of the living entities in this world are embodied in material nature, and they work like any material machine. The anatomy of a material body must have a mechanical construction with veins and so forth, but the transcendental body of the Supreme Lord has nothing like veins. It is clearly stated here that he is unembodied, which means that there is no difference between his body and his soul, nor is he forced to accept a body according to the laws of nature as we are. Very interesting here that Krishna in this verse, in this sloka, mentioned as unembodied. So Srila Prabhupada explained that unembodied means he is not embodied by material covering, by material body, by material engagement, like how we do. So his body and himself is actually non-different. So his body is completely transcendental. He has no vein, as this verse mentioned, he has no veins. That means there's no blood circulation as how we do. But we find when in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Bhishma was piercing Lord Krishna's chest with his arrows, and Lord Krishna's chest was bleeding, was profusely bleeding. Then how do we understand that Krishna's body is completely transcendent? How do we understand this? Anybody would like to comment on that? If Krishna has no veins, if Krishna's body is transcendental, then when the Lord's body is bleeding, how we can convince ourselves that yes, his body is transcendental. He's bleeding. He was pierced by arrows. Yes, Vanamali Prabhu.
So, in also Nityanand Prabhu and Nityanand Prabhu also was beaten by pot. He also blew. And I have another question too. When Lord Chaitanya go to Katwa and he head shaved him alone. So how the soul cannot be cut? How the hair get cut?
Yeah.
And never again he grow the hair also.
All right, that's another question also by Vanamali Prabhu. Is referring to Lord Nityananda, who is the Supreme Lord also. Lord Nityananda was bleeding. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's hair was cut, was saved. Then how do we understand that Krishna's body is transcendental when we see this kind of incident or pastime, especially when the Lord's body, when his body was bleeding? Anybody would like to comment?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Kumudaksa Prabhu.
Last time I heard devotees discussing about this, about maybe not exactly about Lord Krishna bleeding, but how between Arjuna and when Arjuna associated with Lord Krishna, we see that Arjuna's body is not, it says, it's not the same as Krishna, but somehow or other they also, they together, being together, they even, sitting together, they sometimes also playing together like that. It is that it is mentioned that actually because the Lord sometimes wanted, and then how is Arjuna's body, which is not like Krishna's body, they can together can be touched by Arjuna, let's say, for example. And yes, mentioned that actually just because of Lord Krishna desire that it can be made so. Just because of his desire that he can interchange between matter and spirit interchangeably. Uh, well, from spirit into matter and then matter into spirit, because he is the controller of both. So for certain purpose, he made certain arrangement so that it seemed to be like a material like that. Thank you very much. That's what I.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Very, very interesting. Yes, of course. That's correct answer. That he's independent. He's independent. That means, and also he's God, and he can do whatever he wants. Simply make his body bleeding. Why not? Simply make his body bleeding. Why not? And after all, yeah, he's completely. Of course, that blood is transcendental. That blood is transcendental. His body is transcendental. Yeah, he can interchange, as Kumuraksa Prabhu mentioned. He can interchange. He can transfer matter to become transcendental simply by his touch. So how do we convince that the Lord's body is transcendental when he's bleeding, for example? Yes, why not? He's God. He can make any scenario that he wants, including bleeding. But when he bleeds, he doesn't feel the pain. When he bleeds, he doesn't feel the pain as how we do. So when we get cut, for example, immediately we become freak out and we have to go to the hospital, this and that, find some medicine. But Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explained that when Lord Krishna's body was bleeding, being pierced by Bhismadev's arrow, so Lord Krishna feels in love. He feels that this is the love of Bhismadev, just like an elephant being showered by petals of roses. That's what Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur mentioned. Just like elephant being showered by petals of roses. So when Lord Krishna was showered by the arrows of Bhismadev, so he feels like that. It's so soft. It's so nice. Hare Krishna. And yeah, in this verse, it is mentioned also Sudam Apapa Vidam. So Sudam Apapa Vidam. Sudam means pure, completely pure. Apapa means apapa. Papa means sins. Vidam means piety. So apapa Vidam means he is untouched by sins or piety. That means when he acts, when the Supreme Lord acts, when the Supreme Lord acts in the material world, he doesn't create. He doesn't create sins or piety. He doesn't. He's not affected by sin or piety. So he's completely independent Lord, untouched by the strain of the three modes of material nature. Okay, so the Lord's body is transcendental. Unembodied here refers to he's not embodied by material engagement like the jivas, do. This is lecture from Srila Prabhupada. So Krishna is not embodied. He has no difference between his body and his soul. His soul and body the same. He does not change his body because he hasn't got material body. And because he does not change body, he remembers everything. We change body. Therefore, we do not remember what had happened in our last birth. So our body is temporary. Yeah, the he knows Vinyata, that verse, very basic verse in the Bhagavad Gita, that we change our body and Dhirastatrana Moyati, those who are sober, understand this knowledge, they are not bewildered. Therefore, when Krishna explained to Arjuna that these signs that now I'm speaking to you, I already spoken to the sun god. Arjuna said, oh, how can? If we see by age, sun god is much more senior than you. How did you recite this same knowledge to the sun god? And Krishna explained, of course, that both of us, you and me, or Arjuna, we have descended here many, many times. But you don't remember what had happened previous life. But I remember. Vedaham samatitani vartamanani charjuna bhavishyani charbhutani mamtu vedana. Krishna mentioned in the 7th chapter also that Krishna knows past, present, and future. So that's the difference between the jivas and the Supreme Lord. The jivas will forget as soon as he changed the body. As soon as he changed the body, the jivas will forget what had happened in the previous life. But Krishna, as Srila Prabhupada mentioned, he never changed his body. So because he never changed his body, so there is no forgetfulness. Srila Prabhupada continue. In this mantra, as well as in many other Vedic mantras, it is clearly stated that the Lord has been supplying goods to the living entities from time immemorial. A living being desires something, and the Lord supplies the object of that desire in proportion to one's qualification. So sometimes we desire something and we don't get it. So what's wrong here? Because we are not qualified yet to get what we desire. So we get things that we desire by Krishna's permission, provided that we are qualified for that. If a man wants to be a high court judge, he must acquire not only the necessary qualifications, but also the consent of the authority who can award the title of high court judge. The qualifications in themselves are insufficient for one to occupy the post. It must be awarded by some superior authority. Similarly, the Lord awards enjoyment to living entities in proportion to their qualifications. But good qualifications in themselves are not sufficient to enable one to receive awards. The mercy of the Lord is also required. So there are two things here, our qualification, and because Krishna is independent, even if we are qualified, if Krishna doesn't want to give that, whatever we desire, then we will not get it. Forget about it. Ityo nityanas chetanam chetananam eko bahunam yo vidadati kam. So eko bahunam yo vidadati kam. Kama means desire. So Krishna fulfills all our desires according to our qualification. And of course, Krishna is always being just. He is just. He is never unjust. So according to our qualification, he will award us accordingly what we desire, whether we deserve or not. Yeah, he never makes mistake. He never commit mistake when he's awarding something. There is no mistake in on behalf of Krishna. There is no mistake on his side when he awards the living entities, whether it is seems to be favorable things which make us happy, or something which is seems to be something that undesired by us, like calamity. But he always very I would say scrutiny in his measurement to give us what we desire and whether we deserve or not. So Krishna will award it accordingly. So Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadatikam. He fulfills all our desires. So in fact, in the 7th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna mentioned that when the living entities, when the jivas want to worship the demigods, so Krishna himself, because he is the Upadrashta and Anumanta, Upadrashta Anumanta cha Bharta Bhokta Maheshwaram, Paramat Meti Chapyukto Dehesmin Purushapa. So because he is the Upadrashta means the seer, drashta means seer or the supervisor, and Anumanta means the sanction giver. So how he sees Paramat Meti Chapyukto, he's sitting next to us, next to the living entity in each and everybody's heart. So he sees, okay, we have this kind of desire, that kind of desire, and accordingly he will award that. Anumanta means he will sanction that. So when the jiva wants to worship some particular demigod, so Krishna gives faith to that person to worship that particular demigod. And Srila Prabhupada in his purport to that verse asks, we may sometimes wondering that why Krishna gives faith to some particular jivas to worship some particular demigods. So the answer is, okay, what will be the answer? Why Krishna gives faith to the jivas who wants to worship the demigods? And Krishna gives faith. Okay, you want to worship this demigod? Here you go. There you go. I give you faith. Why? Why
So
Krishna doesn't give faith that this person worshiping Krishna only, so everybody can become devotees? Yes. Who is that? Sorry.
so like Lord Shiva can send someone to Sanatan Goswami, and Sanatan Goswami can give him Harinam, and that's why he will get Krishna.
Okay. My question is that why Krishna gives faith to the jivas who wants to worship some particular demigod?
That demigod will give Krishna Prem after some years of worship.
Okay.
But not exactly. One devotee of Lord Shiva was sent to Sanatan Goswami for Chintamani or something like that. So he.
Yeah, I got your point. Yeah, you are referring to that last time. Thank you. Yeah, so Vanamali Prabhu responds that that demigod will give Krishna prem. But I don't think so that's an absolute case. Yeah, that's not an absolute case, because the jivas approaching the demigods. Why the jivas worshipping the demigod? Because kamai sarsa hrita jnana prapadyante nya devata. So prapadyante nya devata. The humans surrender to the demigods because kamai sarsa, because they have some material desire in their heart to be fulfilled. And hrita jnana, their knowledge is lost. because why they don't worship Krishna? Why they worship the demigods? And when they want to worship the demigods, Krishna give the faith. Okay. What's that here? Is there some chat? No chat. Okay. Anybody else? Thank you very much, Vanamuli Prabhu, for your contribution. Anybody else would like to contribute? Why Krishna is giving faith to those who wants to worship the demigods? Why Krishna not giving faith that you must worship me so everybody can become devotee? Who is here? All right. Somaka Prabhu, after a long absence, would you like to give us some enlightenment on that case? Okay, if there's no comment, so Srila Prabhupada himself in his purport described that if Krishna doesn't give the faith to that person when he wants to worship the demigod, that means there is no meaning of being independent, because Krishna gives us some tiny little independency, some little independency. So independency, that's actually the manifestation of Krishna's love for all his children, for all his children. So he gives the independency. If Krishna forced the living entities, no, you should not worship the demigods, you should worship me, then this is not love, because love or bhakti based on one's free will. Yeah, free will. Bhakti is based on free will. Krishna never forced any living entities to surrender to him. So that's the meaning of independency, little independency. So that's the reason why he gives the faith to the demigods worship. All right, so based on our qualification, we get what we deserve.
Hare Krishna.
Something. Yes, Lakshmi Narsingha Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dandvat Pranam Prabhuji. One small question related to it, Prabhuji.
Yes,
one of the children asked me, and like generally the God gives the good things fine, but even why he asked in such a way that if someone is asking for the bad things, still why the God gives or why he sanctions.
And what did you reply?
I told like yeah, similar like Prabhu, like the God will give given a freedom, like if as your father, you are a son to your father, but father asks whenever he asks you to sleep or whenever he asks you eat, you don't like it, right? It's the same way the God also given some freedom, and also he given instructions to us like what to do and what not to do. Accordingly we will get the punishment. So we need to be understand what is the God has been explained in the Bhagavad Gita, and accordingly we should act. But still I'm he convinced, but there is something I'm feeling like he is asking, like even though if he asked like if I pray for bad things, is the God sanctions, or if sanctions, why he sanctions?
Yeah, your answer was correct. Why he sanctioned? Because he loves us. He gives the permission because he loves us. Otherwise, there is no meaning of independence. But along with that sanction, Krishna already given the what do you call this?
Minute independence of freedom.
No. Along with that sanction, the consequences. Yeah, the consequences. Yeah, you do good thing. Okay, I sanction, and because you are doing right thing, good thing, you will get good result. But when you do wrong thing, okay, I
Mhm.
sanction also, but this is the consequences. And Krishna is detached from that.
Mm.
Krishna is detached from that. And when you get the punishment, so don't blame God, don't blame Krishna. Why you sanction me to do this? Okay, because I already award you. I already award you. Just like Srila Prabhupada mentioned that one of his children, I think that was Vrindavan Dev Prabhu, one of his children, that so in India during hot summers, so everybody is spinning the fan, and he has this kind of standing fan, so it's reachable for the children. And one of his son would like to put his finger,
Yeah.
put his finger into that fan. Prabhupada said, no, don't do this, don't do this. And Prabhupada moved away, and then the kids, the child was just crawling, and still wanted to, because the child is curious what is going on. This going round and round and round. And Prabhupada already warned that no, don't touch this, you will get cut. Still, because he is a stubborn child, so as soon as he put his finger, tried to touch this spinning fan, then he got cut and cried. And Prabhupada said, you see, that's it. Prabhupada's response, you see, I already told you, don't do it. Still you want it? Okay, go ahead. And you got the lesson now. So an intelligent person will not step on the same ditch. So he will not fall again on the same ditch. So we as the jivas also, when we want to do something bad, okay, Krishna sanction, we get the punishment, but whether we learn or not from that punishment, if intelligent person will not repeat the same thing, but the fools will always fall into the ditch again and again and again. And this is actually what happened into our life. We come to this material world, we take birth for millions of lifetimes, for a million times. Still, we don't learn. We don't learn. Janma, mrityu, jara, vyadi, dukkha, dosa, anudarsana. So in the 11, I think that's verse from the 11th chapter, that this is, there are 20 items of knowledge. Yeah, the first batch of the Bhakti Sastra. There are 20 items of knowledge mentioned there, that and then amongst this is Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi, Dukkha, Dosa, Anudarsana. Dukkha, Dosa, Anudarsana. We see that this Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi as something terrible. And when we understand this completely, that is actually knowledge. But we face it, still we don't understand it, and we want to experience again. We always confident that that was happening in the past. I think this will not happen again to me. Because I'm special. Just like, let's say an example, like a person who wants to get married. Okay, for example, like a divorced person who wants to get married again. I'm sorry, this is just an example. Yeah. Okay, he was quarreling with his ex-wife or ex-husband, whatever, in the past, and then they divorced. And then when they quarrel and when they divorce, this husband and wife think that, oh, never again, I will not get married again. That's it, finished. They divorce. And then after sometimes this desire come again. And then he or she start thinking, oh, that was happening in the past. I think with this person, I'll start new life. It will not happen. But yeah, welcome to the club. It will happen again. So anyway, that's my response. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Sanction and also consequences. All right, continue. This is a lecture from Srila Prabhupada. So we should very seriously execute this Krishna consciousness without any deviation. Very seriously. We should not be neglectful that this is a passion or something imposed. No, this is the most important function. Human life is meant simply for developing Krishna consciousness. He has no other business. But unfortunately, we have created so many engagements so that we forget Krishna consciousness. This is called Maya. This is called Maya. So we are in Maya. When we forget Krishna, that's it. We are in Maya. Who is that? I think that was Tamal Krishna Maharaj or Brahmananda Prabhu. I forgot exactly, but in the morning walk with Srila Prabhupada, he mentioned that, Prabhupada, sometimes I'm in Maya. Immediately Srila Prabhupada cut. Not sometimes, but we are all the time in Maya. Yeah, we are all time in Maya. Sometimes we feel that, okay, sometimes I'm in Maya. Or sometimes it's okay, just 2 hours out of the 24 hours, I'm in Maya. So this is actually very dangerous because, yeah, I personally found such kind of devotees. Even sometimes I think like that. Okay, yeah, just few minutes in Maya, and yeah, after all, why I should be 24 hours Krishna conscious? It's okay, 2 hours or 10 minutes, but this is very dangerous. Once you taste Maya, Maya will give you more taste, and then you will become away from Krishna. So Prabhupada mentioned here, we have to be very serious to execute this Krishna consciousness, because yeah, we got this human life, and that's the only chance. This is the gate. Moksha dwaram apavritam. This human form of life is actually the gate by which we can attain liberation. Moksha dwara. The door, the gate for liberation is available in the human form of life. Dulabha manusam janma tadapya dhruvam artada. This body is adruam, Prahlad Maharaj said. Adruam means uncertain. Dhruva means certain. Adruva means uncertain. Uncertain in the sense of we don't know when this body gonna die. We don't know how long this body will remain healthy. Everything is uncertain about this body. But make the best use of the bad bargain, as Srila Prabhupada mentioned. So utilize it. Okay, I think that's the end of the mantra number 8. Were there any questions before we move ahead to the next one, mantra number 9? Any questions? Comments? Or we can continue. We have 15 minutes. Okay, mantra number 9. Mantra 9 discusses 2 kinds of people who lack knowledge of Krishna: those who are simply ignorant and those who are followers of material scholarship thinking at the end all of knowledge. Both kinds of people disregard the Lord's proprietorship and consequently are degraded into the darkest region of ignorance. Mantra 9 describes the result of cultivating ignorance and false knowledge. So this verse is about vidya and avidya. Interestingly, this verse talking about ignorance is better than misguided knowledge. So avidya is better than vidya, which is misguided. We'll see how it is. So this is the mantra. Anybody would like to recite this mantra? Just unmute yourself. Okay, chalo, anybody?
Just if nobody, I won't.
Yes, go ahead.
Andam tama pravisanti ye vidyam upasate tato bhuya ivate tama ya uvidya yamrataha. Those who engage in the culture of nescience activities shall enter into the darkest region of ignorance. Worse still are those engaged in the culture of so-called knowledge.
Thank you. So ignorance is better than misguided knowledge. This mantra offers Prabhupada writes, this mantra offers a comparative study of vidya and avidya. Avidya or ignorance is undoubtedly dangerous, but vidya or knowledge is even more dangerous when mistaken or misguided. when mistaken or mistaken. Srila Prabhupada continue. As far as Vidya is concerned, the first mantra has explained very clearly that the Supreme Lord is the proprietor of everything, and that forgetfulness of this fact is ignorance. So what is mantra 1? Isavashamidam sarvam, that principle. So when we forget about these principles, everything belongs to God, that means ignorance. The more a man forgets this fact of life, the more he is in darkness. In view of this, a godless civilization directed toward the so-called advancement of education is more dangerous than a civilization in which the masses of people are less educated. So ignorance. Ignorance is really bad, but misguided knowledge is even worse than that. I'll give you a very crude example. Yeah. For example, like you have bike, motorbike or whatever, and your bike get broken. So you go to a person who doesn't know how to fix the bike, and he will tell you honestly, I don't know how to fix this bike. Okay, leave it, leave it. But then when you go to a person who pretending to have knowledge about how to fix the bike, in fact, he doesn't know how to fix the bike. But when you go to such a person, that's even worse, because he's gonna start to speculate now how to fix the bike. And instead of fixing the bike, he will make the bike even worse. So an honest person, an ignorant, honest person is still better than a person who has knowledge but misguided. That misguided knowledge means simply speculation. This is misguided knowledge. Not at all correct. Speculation. Make the situation even worse. In the language of the Bhagavad Gita, interesting, Srila Prabhupada mentioned in the language of Bhagavad Gita. In the language of Bhagavad Gita. Not often we find Srila Prabhupada writes like this. In the language of Bhagavad Gita 7:15, people who are engaged in gross sense gratification are mudas, ashes. The ash is symbol of stupidity. Those who simply engage in the profitless pursuit of sense gratification are worshipping avidya, according to Isopanisad. And those who play the role of helping this sort of civilization in the name of educational advancement are actually doing more harm than those who are on the platform of gross and sense, the platform of gross sense gratification. Yeah. Namam duskritino muda, that verse that Srila Prabhupada is referring to. Namam duskritino mudha. Mudha means foolish, ashes. Duskriti means the impious. But still, they are, of course, they are considered to be very degraded. But even more degraded than that is the so-called, modern advancement in the name of educational advancement. But actually, they are simply speculating. Yeah, material educational advancement is actually full of speculation, doing more harm in the sense of, so they are misguiding people. They come up with new conclusion. They come up with new conclusion of some theory or something, and people, the general people, the mass will believe to that, will take that knowledge, and then they become misguided. Yeah, whatever, as what we have discussed in the very beginning of our discussion on this Isopanisad, that because of our imperfect senses, then the sense is imperfect, then there, because of the imperfect senses, we tend to speculate something, and as a result, we commit mistake. When we commit mistake, and then we just share whatever conclusion that come up due to our mental speculation. And then that's actually a cheating. That's actually a cheating, because you are not giving an accurate information to the people. When the people take it, then they will become illusion. So that's how it's connected. Everything is connected. In that sense, it starts from the imperfect senses. The advancement of learning by a godless people is as dangerous as a valuable jewel on the hood of a cobra. A cobra decorated with a valuable jewel is more dangerous than one not decorated. Yeah. If the cobra doesn't have any jewel on its hood, so the people will avoid the cobra, and the cobra will not harm that person. But when you see on the head of a cobra, on the hood of a cobra, there is a valuable jewel, so you want to take it. And cobra is very dangerous. You may get bite at any time. Prabhupada also, right? In the Hari Bhakti Sudodaya, the advancement of education by godless people is compared to decorating on a dead body. In India, as many other countries, some people follow the custom of leading procession with decorated dead body for the pleasure of the lamenting relatives. So yeah, sometimes we see that the dead body already inside the coffin, and then the family members will decorate the dead body with nice suit, with tie, and put some rose flower and make the face smile. So the lamenting family members will be happy that yes, the last day, on the last rite, he's smiling to us. In the same way, modern civilization is patchwork of activities meant to cover perpetual miseries of material existence. All such activities are aimed towards sense gratification. Yeah. So this picture, I put this actually in some part of Indonesia. So when there's somebody die, so they will preserve their material body. They will not burn or they will not bury, but just remain like that around the people, around his family, and the family members would take care as if he's still alive, but he's actually completely ignorance and too much attachment, I would say, like that. And okay, according to the Bhagavad Gita 2:44 and 7:15, mistaken mundane educators are known as Vedavadarata and Mayaya Pahrita Gyana. So Vedavadarata refers to when we bewildered by the flowery words of the Vedas. So flowery words of the Vedas, what does it refer to? The flowery words of the Vedas. Anybody still remember? Or by chance you read? What is the flowery words of the Vedas?
Karma Kanda part.
Karma Kanda.
Yeah, thank you. The Karma Kanda section of the Vedas. Yeah, that's why Sri Krishna mentioned Trigunya Visarveda and Trigunya Bhava Arjuna. So this Veda is so big, and most of the section of the Vedas influenced by the three modes of material nature, and mostly from passion and ignorance. Therefore, it is the flowery words of the Vedas is the Karma Kanda section. You do this, you will get this. You do this thing, you will be promoted to the higher planetary system. So this is called Veda Vadaratan, means person will be bewildered by the flowery words of the Vedas. And then Mayaya Parita Jnana in the 7:15. Mayaya Parita Jnana means one's intelligence will be lost, Just like we see the incidents in the fourth canto. That's Daksa Yagya. So this cursing, counter cursing between Daksa's party and Lord Shiva's party. Of course, Nandi was so upset because his master, Lord Shiva, was criticized by Daksa. So Nandi, this bull, also tried to insult Daksa. Grihesu, what he means? Grihesu kuta dharmesu. Sakto gramya suke chaya. Karma tantra vitanute veda vada vipinnadi. So veda vada vipinnadi. Those family, those householders, Grihesu kuta dharmesu. Sakto gramya suke chaya. When he's performing seemingly dharma, religious activities, but to get the material gain. Sakto gramya sukhe. Gramya sukha means material happiness or sense gratification. You perform yagya. Daksa is performing yagya, but the aim is not purely to please the Supreme Lord, but the aim is to make his life more prosperous. Therefore, Nandi was criticizing him. Karma Tantra Vitanute. He is performing this karma kanda. Tantra means the ritualistic. Karma Tantra Vitanute Vedavada Vipinnadihi. Vipinnadihi means he lost his intelligence. Why? Because he missed out. He missed out the real aim of performing that yagya. Yagya is actually another name of Lord Vishnu, because he's the master of yagya, master of sacrifice. Just to please Krishna is the aim of yagya. But Daksa performing that yagya is actually for the material gain. That's why it is considered as the karma kanda, and his intelligence is lost. Thank you. Yeah, Maya Bharita Jnana. They may also be atheistic demons, the lowest of men. Asura Bhava, this atheistic demon, Asura Bhava. Those who are Vedavadarata pose themselves as very learned in Vedic literature, but unfortunately they are completely diverted from the purpose of the Veda. As stated in the mantra 1, one should know that the personality of Godhead is the proprietor of everything, and that he must be satisfied with our allotted portion. And that we must be satisfied with our allotted portions of the necessities of life. The purpose of all Vedic literature is to awaken this God consciousness in the forgetful living being. And the same purpose is presented in various ways in the different scriptures of the world for the understanding of a foolish mankind. Thus, the ultimate purpose of all religions is to bring one back to Godhead. That's it. Go back to Godhead. All right, that's the end of this session today. It's exactly 1.5 hours from we start. So yeah, just to conclude this session, that in the mantra 7, what we discussed in mantra 7. Mantra 7, we discuss about the qualitative oneness. Yeah, that's the oneness principles. And we have to be very clear the difference between the Mayavadi's understanding and the Vaishnava understanding about oneness. So oneness means we are in oneness in quality, not in quantity. And then in mantra 8, we discuss about God's eternal qualities and how to attain that divine qualities. So the Mahabhagavata described the qualities of Krishna, that he is Sudam Apapavidam. That means he's completely pure and untouched by sins, untouched by piety also. And then in the last mantra, of course, we discuss about vidya versus avidya. So avidya is, of course, really bad. Will bring us to the darkest region of ignorance. But misguided vidya, when somebody poses himself as learned, but actually he's not, that even worse. All right, so we stop here. Were there any final question, comments? 1 or 2 minutes. You are most welcome. And yeah, if there's no more comments or anything need to be discussed, I would like to thank you very much for tolerating myself. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha. Patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you so much.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.